What's happening, everyone? I hope that you're all very well. I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Don Robbie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Robbie, an honour to have you on this channel. Thank you so much.
You know what? This is the first video we've done, like, on your channel, what I can think of, where we've been together. It's not only been a stream.
No, I think we've done one earlier this season. Clearly forgettable, though. we
were always together on the Saturday social.
Yeah, that's right. They always pair us up on there, don't they?
Yeah.
They certainly do. Actually, before we get stuck into this video, can I just let you know that I'm inching ever closer on this channel to 250,000 subs. If you're watching this, please click the subscriber button. It massively helps me out, and it would be my honour to welcome you into this community. Thank you so much. Rob, brilliant. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, Chelsea are playing Arsenal, but I think there's a bigger conversation to be had about Arsenal at the moment. This season, you've been mesmerisingly good, surprisingly good, dazzling at points, and the league title could have gone your way. I don't think it's going to happen now, but it could have gone your way. I think the question that is really interesting to explore is next season. Do you build on this? Do you use this season as a springboard to launch and have a sustained bid to win the league again next year? Or does this season end up being an anomaly and maybe you're scraping around for top four?
No, I think first of all, we have to build on it. And I do think we will build on it. And I think, you know, one of the big things that's going to help us out is that we're going to be in the Champions League. And I couldn't believe it the other day. I was obviously in doing the channel AFTV. When we first started doing the channel, it was like Champions League every year. And I remember even like when we first sort of dropped into the Europa League, there were sort of fans saying, oh, well, you know what? I don't even mind it because we can go and visit some new places.
Yeah. I want to go to Ludogorets. I know it would be a great holiday.
Yeah, instead of going to Munich and getting battered, right? Let's go, you know, to some of these places in Austria and this and that. But 6 years in the Europa League, I'm like...
Without winning it.
Without winning it, but not even just that, just being in it. And I'll just be like, wow, that's a long time. Because I honestly thought that we'd just be in it for like maybe a year or so and we'd be back in the big time, but we haven't been. So I think getting back into the Champions League is going to be significant for us because that enables you to attract better players, without a doubt. I think we've done well over the last couple of windows with some of the players that we've attracted, but the Champions League definitely helps you to attract some of those top grade players. And I think that that's what's going to really help us to build upon what we've done this season.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens, isn't it? You know, since Ferguson left Manchester United, you know they've played more games in the Europa League than they have in the Champions League. Quite considerably.
It's crazy. That's why all the big clubs wanted that Super League, you know what I mean? Because
it kind of makes, but you know the way that you and I would define Manchester United in our head, they're a team, you know, 3 European Cups, top tier, top table. If you're, like, basically for the last decade, overall, they're a Europa League team, and it catches up on you very quickly.
Same with us. Same with us, and that's what's happened. And that's what I said. I think getting now into the Champions League next season, that's going to enable us to attract better players. So, obviously, the number one link at the moment to Arsenal is Declan Rice. You know, who I think would be an unbelievable addition to our team. Previously been linked with Chelsea. Right, but you look on it all of a sudden, you say, would Declan Rice want to go to Chelsea right now? Even if you take out of it all the fact that the millions of players you've bought, but Chelsea are not going to have no Champions League, whereas a player like Declan Rice, especially playing in some of the European competitions when he's been, you know, Europa League and Conference League at West Ham, he's going to be thinking, I want to play in the Champions League, go to Arsenal, exciting team. I'll go there. And that's the other thing as well. You've got to look on it and say, Arsenal at the moment has been an exciting team. You know what I mean? The way we play football, the age of the players there, you know what I mean? The Emirates has been buzzing, which was something that, you know, when we first moved in, it hasn't really been this season and a bit of last season as well, starting to really become a place that's rocking. So it's an exciting place to go to all of a sudden.
No, I agree. I mean, it's really annoying that I agree. But I think that if you're a young player looking around and you've got your pick of clubs, there is something very appealing about Arsenal. I mean, there's always something appealing about Arsenal, even if you're not in the Champions League.
Still
Arsenal.
It's been appealing about Arsenal, but even in the past few seasons, we've been living off of remember Thierry Henry used to play his football here and things like that. But now all of a sudden, as I said, there are things that if you're a player on the up, or if you're a top player, there are things that you will look at and say, I want to go to Arsenal.
Because also, you've got a track record now of players landing at Arsenal and growing and being like Odegaard is a good example of that. Somebody who came in and has suddenly flourished.
Yep.
You know, so I think that Declan Rice will be looking at it. And do you know what? It was actually against. I don't really want to bring this fixture up because, in my opinion, this is where the title changed. It was in that moment when Saka missed the penalty against West Ham. But do you know what I think was my overriding moment of that game? The story of that game, rather than the moment, was just Declan Rice in midfield against Odegaard, Partey and Xhaka and dominating it. Winning
the ball off Partey that led to them getting that penalty, you know what I mean? So he would be a great signing.
Who does he... Xhaka drops out of the team?
Well, you see, that's the other thing. I mean, that's been a lot of the suggestion that it could be Xhaka or Partey because, you know, Xhaka's more box-to-box, Partey's more DM. The good thing about Declan Rice, he can play both of those positions, really. But the thing about it is, again, with the Champions League, we need a bigger squad.
Yeah.
So none of them really has to be sacrificed for me. It could be like they all come in and battle it out because we need now, you know what I mean? This is one of the things I think that's caught up with us this season in the Premier League, right? At the start of the Premier League, I think Mikel Arteta put together a squad that he thought could get him into the Champions League.
Yeah. And he was right.
And he's right. But we've been playing so well, we're going for the Premier League. So all of a sudden now, a couple of injuries, Saliba's out. You know, we've got people to bring in, but the drop-off is big, you know. Whereas if you look at Man City, which is a team built to win the Champions, built to win
everything,
the Premier League and the Champions League, but the Premier League, their drop-off is less in all positions. Because he knows you're going to have to do a lot of rotation throughout the season. Our rotation, when you're building a team to get into the top four and compete in the Europa League, you know that in the early parts of the Europa League, you basically play your kids, teams you're coming up against. You know what I mean? You literally play your reserve side, tell everybody to take a rest, and you'll beat those teams. It's only later on in the competition that you're going to have to, and by that time, you should be all right. You know, but in the Champions League, from game one,
it's on, isn't it?
It's on.
Yeah.
So you've got to know that, you know, if you play, I don't know.
Everyone has to be a certain level. Every single player.
So you may play Declan Rice in the Champions League game, and you say, come the Sunday, right, Partey, you start. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're going to have to offload a lot of players. I'm wanting to keep a lot of players, but reinforce. Add quality to certain areas.
I rated Gabriel Jesus incredibly highly. I thought it was a great signing. I thought a very clever signing from Arteta. It allowed Arteta to play that sort of front four that all interchange. Nobody needed to score 30 goals because they'll all score a dozen. You happy with him? Has he lived up to what I thought he would do?
I think he's lived up to it. I think he's had an excellent season. You've got to remember he's missed 4 months through injury, you know? And then he's returned and he's scored goals on his return, you know? But I do think I would like to see us get a clinical number 9, you know what I mean? A clinical striker who's a bit different to the ones that we've got. Because we've got this amazing front three, call it front four now, with Trossard coming in. But they're all very similar players, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at it that sometimes in a game, you may need something else. You need...
a big geezer, lump it.
Yeah, a bit like, you know, there's any Haalands around. You know what I mean? But you know what, sometimes, a big... Somebody can hold it up. Somebody who, if you want to change your tactics or your strategy, we can't really do it at the moment because all of our front four are very similar. So...
You got your eye on anyone there? Has anybody caught you for that?
No one's really caught... I've been looking... Well, listen, I love Osimhen. But I think half of world football would love him. You know what I mean? I think he's the nearest thing you're going to get to like a Haaland.
Like if you think that he leaves Napoli, Arsenal have got to be. You know, if you're involved with it,
I think that's to be like your budget's gone on one player.
But you know? Arsenal have money. You know, like it's important to acknowledge. Like you know, Kroenke is incredibly wealthy and does have the finances. If Osimhen is going to leave Napoli, which I think is fair to say he possibly will.
Possibly.
Arsenal have to be one of the, half a dozen clubs that the manager of Osimhen will consider talking to.
Yeah, I still think it'd be difficult to pull that off as well in the fact that he'd have the pick of wherever he wanted to go. But there may be, and there's Vlahovic I've looked at.
You've been linked with him a lot, haven't you?
Over the past, and he hasn't really had a good time of it at Juventus. Could we resurrect him? But then how much would that cost? The truth of the matter is, there's not a lot of really, really top strikers out there. When you look around European football, how many are there really? You know what I mean? There's
one a few miles from.
He'd never come to us.
No,
you know what I mean?
go.
But if we had somebody like that down the middle, you had a Kane down the middle, he's going to score loads of goals.
What about us at the back? Do you feel like at one point I thought Gabriel was fantastic, and obviously Saliba I think was a jewel in the crown of that back line.
That partnership's been brilliant.
It was incredible but what happened is I thought when Holding came in, Gabriel and Holding seemed to both want to attack the ball and nobody would do the opposite.
Yeah, that's right. They're both very similar. Rob Holding's more of an old school centre back.
Yeah, challenge for the ball.
Yeah,
Steve Bold,
I mean? You know what? He's been scapegoated a bit. He's not even actually been that bad since he's come in. It's just that you lose something. Of Saliba, you can leave Saliba one-on-one with an attacker and he'll have it, right? He's very difficult player to beat one-on-one, whereas Rob Holding's not that type of centre back. Yeah. So we definitely need a centre back, another one. Right-sided centre-back to cover for Saliba or to compete with Saliba. It's not even cover for. Right-back position I'm looking at now and I'm thinking we need a right, even though,
Do you think Ben White, has Ben White made that his own?
Ben White's been brilliant and he's made it his own, but I want someone to compete with him. You could say, listen, we've got Tomiyasu. Again, we've been very unlucky with him. He's been injured. So, at the moment I think we're missing him because he could have come in. But I think maybe another sort of dynamic right back that we could possibly bring in, and on the left hand side, I don't know what's going to happen with so many rumours linking Tierney with a move away. I'd like to keep Tierney.
He was iconic at one point, wasn't he? With his carrier bag and his t-shirt. So he was like really iconic.
I still like Tierney, and I still would like to see him stay. But there's so many rumours about him leaving. that if he does, that has to be somebody we've got to replace him with as well. And as I said, the midfield. I don't think Arsenal, that's the thing, they don't need a lot. But they need, whatever they get, it needs to be quality.
Let's say Rice comes in, which I think is looking like that is very possible. So Rice comes in, you then reinforce the back line, and then up front you make a manoeuvre, maybe Vlahovic, maybe something like that. Do you think you can do what you did this season again, like significantly and seriously challenge for the league?
I do. I think, I think we'd win most of our home games, and I think we'd still do pretty well away from home. So I still think we'd be up there. Whether we get closer to Man City, they're just...
no, they're ominous,
They're just so far away from everybody at the moment, in a way. I think we've done well this season just to compete with them.
But aside from City, if we take City away, because obviously they're going to be front runners, take City out of it, do you think Arsenal are then the closest? So the competitors will be Chelsea, let's just say it, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United. That's it, isn't it?
Will you finish above? You forget Newcastle.
Sorry, very disrespectful of me. Listen, yes, you are right.
Put it this way, right? We have shown this season that we've been better than all those teams, and with a few additions, I still think we'll be there or thereabouts with those teams. I think you've got a bunch of teams there that, if they all strengthen next season, will still be pretty even, but they're still below City. I think the problem with the league this season, the last few seasons when City have won it, is that they're always up against one team. They need what
you need a 3-horse race at least.
This league needs is 3 or 4 teams that can win the league. Teams taking points off City. They found it too easy to go to various different of the big clubs and win. And until more teams start taking points off of each other, or taking points off of them, they're going to run away with it. So,
I think you're right. But no, incredible.
The addition of Haaland is a nightmare for all.
Everybody saw that coming as well. Everybody knew that he was going to land and score goals. So, nobody doubted that. You're right there. Rob, just a quick one. Is the type if Chelsea? You got the Chelsea game coming up. You beat Chelsea, you're top of the league. Are you still dreaming, or do you feel like it's gone?
I feel like it's gone, if I'm being honest. But I'm not given up on it until it's mathematically over. We're going to have to see a big change from Arsenal from now to the season. Confidence has been quite, quite shook. We got Newcastle away after Chelsea, which that's one of the most difficult places to go to. We've had
it played a very significant impact on your season last year, didn't it, Newcastle? Around the same time.
We need to beat Chelsea. We need to go into that game with a bit of confidence. I'm not saying that we can definitely beat Newcastle, but we got to go up there. They're so confident at the moment. They're flying. You can't go into that game.
No, you need to be 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. So, and just got to hang in there and see what happens. I mean, even City's game against Fulham, they weren't convinced. Fulham could have got a point off of them. Got to hand it to City again. They got that's the backup, World Cup winner who scores an absolute worldie.
Yeah, great player.
But and then Fulham has the penalty they gave away. Right. But you got to hang in there because you never know. Could the games tell on City? As good as City are, could it be that the fact that they've got a back-to-back Real Madrid?
Yeah. You need to be knocking on the door. We have to be there.
We have to be there.
Yeah, waiting.
Saying waiting if there's any. That's what they've done to us. They've literally stalked us since since
turn of the year, innit? Yeah.
Turn of the year. They've just stalked us. We win a game. We're on a run. They're on a run. Yeah. I mean, we win. They win.
They're just sensational.
Always they've had games when they haven't even been. I remember that game when they played against Palace.
Yeah.
That's petering out to a 0-0.
Yeah.
And then they get a penalty. And so we've got to do what they've done and just sort of try and stick around. That if there is a slip up, but if we lose to you and then we lose to Newcastle, it's over. They've won the league.
Rob, as always, an honour to welcome you onto this channel, mate. Thank you so much.
Good luck, man.
Really appreciate it. And to everybody who's, mate, the 250, that feels
amazing.
Feels like a landmark. I can't get there though. I've been knocking on the door. I've been nearly 250 for about 3 months.
No, but see, you're doing it wrong. See, I don't call it 250. I call it $250,000.
You're right. See, that's why you're the Don and I'm not. Thank you to everybody for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Please click subscribe. And lastly, huge gratitude to Rob. Really appreciate you being on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in a bit.